Hey everyone, welcome to Your Local Haunt, the podcast where I poke around in Britain's creepiest corners, drag out the history, the hauntings, and the sort of stories that will make you think twice about booking that cute little inn for the weekend. I'm Scott, your host, and tonight we're kicking off the podcast in Wales, my homeland, Abergavenny to be exact, and the location? A pub. But this isn't your average boozer. This is the Skirrid Inn, the oldest pub in Wales, supposedly nearly 1,000 years old on the clock. Over that time, it's seen rebellion, trials, enough hangings to make you wonder if anyone's actually finished a pint. So, grab a drink, settle in, and let's talk about the Skirrid, where the ale's strong, the history's grim, and you might end up with a noose around your neck without ever leaving your chair. Now, the Skirrid Inn is old. I mean properly ancient. It first pops up in records in the 1100s. 9 centuries of people drinking, shagging, fighting, dying, and in a few cases, being strung up by the neck inside the same building. The name comes from the Skirrid mountain nearby, which looks like it's cracked in half. Skirrid means shattered or broken in Welsh. Bit on the nose really, considering how many lives got shattered in that pub. One of the more heroic tales has Owen Glyndwr, Wales's last proper prince, rallying his men there in the 1400s before marching off to bash the English. Imagine that. Pints flowing, swords being sharpened, a bit of rousing and shouting, proper rebel HQ. But here's where it gets dark. The Skirrid wasn't just a pub. It doubled as a courtroom. Picture it, upstairs, some poor soul on trial for nicking a sheep or mouthing off at the wrong bloke. And if the judge said guilty, no mucking about. Straight to the staircase, rope round the neck, drop, done. They reckon over 180 people were hanged there. The beam's still in place, scarred with a groove from the rope. You can stand there with a pint today, staring up the spot where hundreds of necks snapped. Nothing says great night out like a Jaeger bomb under an execution beam. There are holding cells too, where prisoners waited for their turn. Some say you can still see scratch marks on the doors, which if true, is bleak as fuck. So, not just a pub, it was Rebellion HQ, courtroom, gallows, and coaching inn all rolled into one. Makes your local look pretty tame by comparison. Now, with that sort of history, if you don't expect ghosts, you're a bit of a mug. The most infamous haunting? The staircase. Loads of visitors say they felt rope around their necks, tightening, choking, sudden panic. Some have even keeled over. Paranormal groups have recorded cold spots, and a few reckon they've seen the hangman himself, still loitering about like he's waiting for the next shift. Then, there's John Crowther, hanged there for sheep stealing. His ghost is said to wander the upstairs rooms. Imagine waking up at 3 a.m. to see a bloke glaring at you from the corner, silent, rope burns around his neck. That's not the kind of bed and breakfast experience anyone signs up for. Room 1 is notorious too. Guests say their duvets get ripped off, footsteps circle the bed, and a Victorian woman drifts through like she's checking in on you. Bit intrusive really, at least knock first. And then there's the monk. Hooded figure in robes, usually seen praying or just shuffling down corridors. Meant to be peaceful apparently, but let's be honest, if a monk suddenly appeared at the end of your bed in the dark, you'd probably scream yourself to death. The sounds are the real kicker. Heavy boots clomping about when the place is empty, whispering voices, in English and in Welsh, furniture dragging itself across the floor, and worst of all, the sound of the rope creaking. People lying awake at night, swearing they can hear hangings being replayed over and over. Plenty of ghost hunting groups have been through and they claim they've got evidence. Strange voices on tape. Weird misty figures in photos. Glasses sliding across the bar. One team swears they watched a chair drag itself across the floor. Honestly, if that happened to me, I'd be out the door faster than you can say another pint, please. And nearly everyone says the same thing. The feeling of being watched, constantly, like you've got an audience, even when you're completely alone. Which is either the ghosts or just the landlord making sure you're not nicking a glass. These days, the Skirrid's still a working pub and inn. You can pop in for a pint, a Sunday roast, even book a room if you've got more guts than sense. The place looks exactly how you'd want it to. Crooked beams, thick stone walls, ceilings so low you'll knock yourself out if you're tall, fireplaces glowing away, shadows dancing around the room. Cozy, if you ignore the fact that somebody probably died horribly in whichever corner you sat in. The staff don't even bother denying the weirdness. Glasses fall off shelves. Doors open on their own. Sudden cold drafts sweep through sealed rooms. Imagine being the poor sod closing up alone at midnight, hearing footsteps upstairs when you know there's no one up there. But that's what makes the Skirrid brilliant though. It's not a cheesy tourist trap with actors in Halloween masks jumping out at you. It's a real pub, with locals chatting, dogs under tables, decent pints and centuries of misery baked into the walls. The living and the dead sharing the same bar. Lovely. So, there you have it, the Skirrid Inn. Nearly 1,000 years of history, rebellion, executions and ghosts, all served with a pint on the side. If you're ever up in Monmouthshire, go, have a drink. Raise a glass to the rebels and the poor sods who swung from that beam. And if you feel a tap on your shoulder, or hear the rope creaking above, well, that's your problem, isn't it? This has been your local haunt. I'm Scott. Diolch yn fawr am wrando. Thank you very much for listening, and remember, next time you book a quaint little inn, maybe check whether or not it doubled as a gallows before you tuck yourself in for the night.